My name's India and I am now 18 years old. My life before encephalitis was very much like a normal teenage person's life. I was studying at a private academic school, just about to start my GCSEs. Also really enjoyed studying all the creative subjects like arts and design and technology. I had lots of friends and I was just about to become a gymnastics coach. The type of encephalitis I was diagnosed with was autoimmune encephalitis, NMDA negative. Encephalitis affected me in many different ways, mentally and physically, and I was then left with an acquired brain injury. It's caused memory issues, and I'm now left with a bad short-term memory and find remembering things really difficult. I have fatigue, so I'm always tired. Another side effect I have is feeling sad and depression. Many days I can't last the day without having a nap, and I have on average 25 seizures a month and have to take daily medications. The medications in the morning mean I can't sleep in. I also have anxiety, including OCD. All this has had a massive effect on my learning abilities. I had to change to a different school because I had to move down a year due to me not being able to carry on with the year. Some of the things that have helped me feel happier and bring my mood up during the day is the hobbies that I have. In my case, some of them is teaching gymnastics and doing gymnastics. Without this, I don't think that I would have been able to get through everything as easily as I have. Even though it hasn't been easy, having a hobby helps take your mind off the bad things or things that are making you sad in life in your recovery.
An essential part of my recovery was the constant support and encouragement from Paul, Katrina and all the other coaches from my gymnastic clubs. Without their support, I don't think I would have come this far in my recovery.
School after encephalitis has been completely different. Everything has been much more difficult and taking a lot more time to do. And seizures have made it really difficult to stay at school the whole day. And I now only come into school for my lessons, and since I changed schools, I haven't got many friends. A lot of friends did fall away as it was not fun to spend time with them during my recovery. But the ones that I stayed in touch with and the bonds got stronger, they're the kind of friends that are worth having and keeping. I have to read everything again, see it again, practice all the questions with my mum over and over again. And I also have to pay for a private tutor as well as everything else. Nobody really understands how much encephalitis can affect you after the brain has been healed, and it's really a true hidden disability. The advice I give to someone else coming back to school after encephalitis is that you need to be open-minded and realise that things are not going to go back to the way they were. I know that it's a very hard thing to hear, but if someone had told me this, I would have realised that this was going to be my new life, and I think my recovery could have been a lot easier. I cannot imagine how my parents must have been feeling when I was diagnosed. However, some of the advice I would give to other parents going through a similar situation is to let go a bit more. My parents were very overprotective, understandably, and this was hard on me because I felt I was babied too much. I would advise them to talk to their child about how they're feeling. This would probably be one of the hardest things to do as parents because they're meant to be the brave ones. But showing your feelings and giving reasons for why you're being so overprotective will help your child understand how you're feeling. Another piece of advice I would give is, if you have other children, to make sure that you don't push them to one side and make them feel lonely. They're also going to be feeling scared and upset, so make sure that you talk to them and explain what's happening, because they'll be very confused.
I'm Shaan, I'm India's brother, and I was about 12 years old when she got diagnosed with encephalitis. To begin with, I pushed away from my whole family and just focused on school, because I found it easier to deal with life, as it was an escape from all the stress and it was easier to be in my own world. But I think ultimately my relationship with her became stronger, because I realized that bad things can happen in life, but it's important to cherish your time with your family. I think it's really important that you treat your sibling normally, like you would have before they were diagnosed, and to not treat them very differently, because naturally their parents are going to be very protective, and you need to support your sibling and push them for independence, and do fun things with them. And most importantly, you should just be there with them and let them talk to you.
You need to make sure that if you do have a sensation or feeling like I do, that you're about to have a seizure, sit down, get to safety. I've had to sit down in some of the most random places, like the middle of London. Don't be too shy or embarrassed about the fact that you have seizures. In my opinion, the recovery itself has helped me to boost my confidence. Getting out the house, doing activities, meeting people. In the beginning, I was very shy and worried about doing things on my own, but slowly everything gets better. When I started my A-levels, it allowed me to find my passion, which is production arts. One example of how my confidence has increased after encephalitis is one day I was walking up a hill and I saw some people paragliding. It looked really interesting, so I went up and talked to this man, and he offered to take me up paragliding. All I needed to do was explain what could happen, i.e. me have a seizure, and just needed to make sure that he was okay with this, and he was absolutely fine. This showed that there are many nice people in the world that won't treat you differently and are happy to accept you for who you are. Next thing I know, I was up in the air paragliding, very, very cold. Having a hobby, it adds a new light into your life that you can look towards and try to forget about the past.